What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the CotAcasT. My name is Brian Bermudez, and I'm the host of the Craft of the Air podcast, the aviation podcast that expands your knowledge in each episode, bringing you the untold world of aviation. Join us as we explore the untold world of aviation together. I'm so glad that you guys are tuned in for another episode. Today's episode, we got this one as counterfeit parts. Buckle up. We're navigating through a really good episode, and today we're shedding light on a pressing issue, really, in the aviation sector, and it's counterfeit parts. And we had a story about American Airlines and some other major key players in aviation and the aviation industry, and discovering and disclosing that counterfeit parts, unapproved parts, were installed on some of their aircraft. And when we look at this, you have to ask the question, how prevalent is this issue? And what are the repercussions? We dive into this as we explore the depth of this issue, and really backed by some real-time data and statistics that I think will surprise a lot of people. First things first, today's episode of the CotAcasT is brought to you by Craft of the Air. Stuck on ideas, looking to facilitate advances in aviation maintenance, Consulting by COTA possesses unique resources to elevate your aviation projects and tasks to new heights. Get comprehensive advice, detailed reports, and cutting-edge data on innovative solutions that empower you to make confident decisions. Are you an A&P student? Need a refresher? Look no further than Cram by COTA, offering consolidated, tailored reviews of aviation maintenance is led by certified A&P subject matter experts, going to ensure that you're fully prepared to excel in any aviation maintenance exam. With aviation maintenance training and consulting, COTA is a second you when you need it. Visit www.craftoftheair.com. Again, that's www.craftoftheair.com today and learn everything COTA can do for you. Craft of the Air, our craft is of the air. So now let me set the stage here, folks. Really the aviation industry is seeing a staggering number of components exchanged each day on a daily basis. But did you know that the FAA, the Federal Aviation Administration, they estimate that about 2% of those 26 million parts installed each year are counterfeit? Yes, 2%. That's now you do the math. That's a whopping 500,000 fake parts infiltrating the aircraft systems worldwide. Now, you ever ponder the consequences of this, having counterfeit parts in a $350 million airplane? The counterfeit parts are no small concern, really. They pose significant risks, and this is from equipment failures to potential catastrophes of accidents. The FAA reveals that really a startling fact. These components have contributed to nearly 200 accidents or incidents worldwide over the past decade. A grim scenario, isn't it? Now, you ask the question, what's the key to mitigating this issue, these counterfeit parts, and not having so many ending up on our airplanes worldwide? These parts go through stringent certification processes and safety standards, and they adhere to very strict specifications. And what do we do to mitigate this issue, to prevent all of these counterfeit parts from getting onto our aircraft? Look, fear not. The aviation world is not standing still. Organizations like the Aviation Suppliers Association, or ASA, they've stepped up the challenge. What strategies are they implementing, you wonder? They're establishing really a quality assurance standard, and they conduct rigorous supplier audits. And this is to ensure that every component is genuine and up to par. Right? Now here's a ray of hope for us all with this dilemma. It's you need a collective effort in yielding positive results. You can't just have one company doing something positive and maybe other companies looking the other way when we see certain things happen. Collective efforts are yielding results. We need a collective effort. Enhanced regulations, meticulous monitoring. And when I think about it, really, industry collaboration may have, manifested a significant reduction in counterfeit part incidents. Reports showcase about a 30% decline in just the last 5 years. Possibly a beacon of progress in ensuring safer skies ultimately. But that it begs the question. I have so many questions in this episode for the listener or the viewer. But then this really begs the question: how sustainable is this progress? Right? Digging deeper into the technology advancements. Technology advancements play pivotal roles, really, in this particular battle when we speak about counterfeit aviation parts. We see innovations like blockchains. Blockchains are being developed to really leverage the supply chain, the supply chain traceability. And by doing this, by having this blockchain technology and having this traceability, we're enabling real-time tracking of aircraft components and parts. This is what we need, right? Now you may ask yourself, when we speak about this type of blockchain technology, is this the technology? Does this technology hold the key to eradicating counterfeit parts? Is it that simple? It seems very likely. Really, when we get really real about this, these advancements must continue. They must continue, and we have to fortify our industry defenses in the United States, starting with our airplanes and making sure that we have approved parts. When you think about a counterfeit part, an actual aviation component or part is fairly expensive. Oh man, if you're an A&P, Dave, are you listening? If you're an A&P, or you're somebody that's familiar with a parts room in an aviation maintenance department, and if you've ever had access, if you can see how much these parts are, we can have a nut and a bolt that are worth $100. There are certain materials and compositions that things are made out of to possibly withstand certain temperatures, and maybe a part of the aircraft that is subjected to high heat temperatures. Or maybe we have something that's subjected to condensation. Maybe we have a special electrical relay or switch that goes on in the exterior of the fuselage, not necessarily on a pressurized area. There's so many reasons why aerospace parts are expensive, and one thing goes into the precise dimensions of our parts. The testing, the rigorous testing and standards in having these parts approved. When we speak about parts, a lot of these parts are OEM, which means that they're aftermarket, not made by the original manufacturer. And they have to go through a set list of standards. And they have to be approved for use by the FAA. You look at this and parts are expensive. And you have, in some instances, some companies, I'm not saying this about the major airlines, but some companies may want to cut corners. Or maybe their check and balance system in place is not catching these suppliers, the suppliers that are providing these counterfeit parts, possibly at a great discount. But then you think about it, and are these parts of the same quality or standards of an approved aerospace part? It's very interesting. It's really a war against counterfeit parts. It's a war against counterfeit parts. I mean, in the beginning of this episode, we spoke about it. According to the FAA, there's an estimated 2% counterfeit parts out there installed on aircraft. 26 million parts installed each year. That's about 500,000 fake parts infiltrating our airplanes and the aviation industry. It's a war against counterfeit parts. And it's far from over. International cooperation and information sharing is essential in identifying and addressing these vulnerabilities, right? Are nations collaborating effectively? You got to ask the question. People's lives are at risk here. Encouragingly, we are witnessing increased cross-border efforts and joint initiatives. And these are aimed at safeguarding, again, the integrity of aviation components. It's another important thing that I think of is really the public perception, public awareness, let's just say. Public awareness and education are also essential. They're indispensable in this fight against counterfeit parts. Ever wondered how you as a passenger can contribute? You have to stay informed. You have to stay vigilant. Passengers and the general public, you can play really a crucial role in reporting suspicious activities, fostering a culture of responsibility, accountability in the aviation ecosystem. You are the paying passenger, and you're paying with your money, and you're paying with your life. As we conclude this episode, it's crystal clear that counterfeit aviation, aerospace parts, it's the challenge is a formidable one. I tell you that. But, is the aviation industry making headway? Absolutely. Absolutely. Stringent regulations, technological advancements, international cooperation, public awareness, too. They're all converging to really fortify our skies, to make them safer, to make our aircraft safer. I tell the listeners, the viewers, keep questioning, stay informed, always stay knowledgeable in everything. That pretty much wraps it up for this episode of the CotAcasT. And I really appreciate you guys listening to this. I would love to hear your thoughts on this episode. Thanks again for listening. That about wraps it up. If you guys have not done so already, you just have to. Don't play yourself. You have to check out the Craft of the Air website. You can visit it by going to www.craftoftheair.com. Again, that is www.craftoftheair.com, and get your free initial consultation today. Craft of the Air, our craft is of the air. Comments or suggestions about this or future episodes? Want to be on an episode? Let's get in touch. Visit that Craft of the Air website at www.craftoftheair.com. Go to the contact section and put in the subject CotAcasT. Thanks again for listening to today's episode of the CotAcasT. If you have not done so already, guys, be sure to follow and subscribe to the Craft of the Air YouTube. We have the Instagram, we got the Twitter, the Threads. Is that what they're calling it now? The Instagram, the Threads. We got it all, man. You guys got to subscribe. Share the show with your friends. Thanks again for listening to today's episode. I appreciate it. I hope you guys have a good week. Be safe, and we'll be seeing you soon.